Welcome to the Mindset, Money and Marketing Podcast, the definitive podcast to help you build your brand, win clients and dominate your market. So welcome back to the podcast. And today I've got a very special guest. And some of you who see me on LinkedIn might think Dean must be an incel because he spends all of his life on social media. But actually I am married, and I somehow, maybe I managed to convince my wife. Yes, that's true. I have a wife. I'm not just sat in a bedroom with a train set to come on the podcast. Louise, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How much did I have to twist your arm to get on here?
Quite a lot, quite a few weeks.
So I asked Louise to come on the podcast like a few weeks ago, and she literally kind of ducked it. And then today we went out for lunch, and I decided to throw it on her. And guess what? She said yes. So, Louise, you're part of Maverick, but actually you do your own little business things as well. And you're involved in our print business. You're driving all our growth on the print business, but you've run your own businesses as well.
Yep.
And I thought it would be good to have you on to kind of get a different person's perspective on marketing and selling. Because I'm not an ordinary person, because I do this kind of marketing and selling thing like 24/7, it's part of my day. Whereas for most people, it's kind of not part of their day. It's like a little thing in their week.
Yeah. Kind of trying to squeeze it into their day.
So what do you think, like from your own experience, what has been the hardest things about sales and marketing for you?
I think starting up is always the hardest thing. Like first few months of doing anything, I think that you need to get a core group of audience behind you, and people who kind of, from a marketing point of view, people who regularly like and engage on your posts on social media is really important, because once you've got that, then things gradually become easier over time, rather than kind of starting from scratch all the time.
Do you think so you've done a lot in the kind of food, healthy eating, nutrition world. That's actually what you qualified in.
Yeah.
What did you find hard about marketing that? What was the biggest, or do you want to just tell a little bit of a story of the journey you've gone on with that kind of business?
So yeah, I started up a little venture last autumn called The Shared Table, and it launched in January, and we ran a big supper club in the local church hall. So the supper club was basically, we got a bunch of people together in a room and bought loads of ingredients, and everybody cooked in teams and made a 3-course meal for the people on their table and who they were sat with. So
they were like making a meal together?
Yeah. So we were making a meal together and cooking together, and kind of, it was a community event, so like mixing with different people as well. So some people didn't know each other. So I think marketing a food event is quite interesting, because you've got a whole foodie bunch of people, haven't you, who absolutely love food and they're really into cooking. And some people came along just for the experience and to see what was going on. It's
interesting though, because I, believe it or not, I got roped into this, and I ended up being the chief dishwasher person, which most of the Maverick team would probably laugh at, because when I'm in the office, I avoid doing any form of dishes.
There's pictures of it somewhere as well.
Yeah. But it's interesting you talk about that you were doing one event where basically you come together, you prepare a meal together, it's social, all that kind of stuff. But some people were coming for, like, it's a foodie thing. Some people were coming for the social thing, and some people were actually coming to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
So you had this room full of people with all like different reasons for coming.
And different skill sets as well. Some people were really established cooks who like work in professional kitchens, and there were people there who didn't have any experience of cooking but just came along for the experience.
So I know from what I get told on my socials, a lot of people have this like almost indecision about who they should target and which market they should go after. How did you like? I think sometimes people want the answers before they've done any stuff. Did you experience that where it's like, who do I target this to, and what do I do, and who's the best person to market this to?
Yeah. So what I did with that event was I got involved in some local community things that were going on as well. So I went out and I spoke to people about the event and what was happening and what I was doing. So a bunch of people came because I'd spoken to them about it. And then I think it was because it was B2C, I promoted it primarily on Facebook. So I set up a business page on Facebook and started posting it about on there as well. And I also shared those posts to my personal page on Facebook as well, because it was in the area I lived in. Lots of people that I was connected with also would see it on there as well. Mm. And then from then, I've run quite a few more supper clubs doing different things in different areas with different themes. And I kind of got a core group of people now that come back to them. And it's kind of grown that way, organically, really, from the first event that we had.
So you deliberately went out and networked almost in whatever way to kind of think about, one, I need to understand what would people come to, gauge the interest, but actually to build a network up.
Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah. And even this morning I went to a networking event to catch up with some friends, but also I'm kind of unsure of what direction to take the shared table at the moment. And there are lots of opportunities and possibilities about, but I think because it's kind of a community thing, I wanted to speak to other people in the community to see what their ideas were and what other initiatives were about in Ivy Bridge and also in Plymouth and the country, really. And just to see what the best business model is going to be for it.
So you kind of have to get into the dirt to figure out. You can't just sit on your computer and figure it all out. You have to go and talk to people, and you're doing that right at the moment.
Yeah.
So you're also, because of the work you do around healthy eating and what have you, you also network in the coaching world because you'll help people with, they're trying to get meal plans and stuff like that, and manage their eating, and you've done some of that work. Not so much that anymore, but you have done it. And so you've been in that kind of coaching community, life coaches, business coaches, you know that world quite well. What do you think you've observed in that world about marketing, self-promotion, social media? What are some of the things that you've spotted?
Oh, I think this is quite a difficult question for me to answer. And I think because I've done my coach training and I'm surrounded by coaches and lots of my friends are coaches in different areas. It's almost, I feel like there's a lot of coaches out there, but that might just be my perception because I feel like my social media is saturated by people who are coaches, but that's probably just because it's my world. Mm-hmm. And I think if you are going to go into something like coaching, you need to pick what kind of what your target audience is and what your niche is going to be, and then just go for it because it's quite loud out there with coaches at the moment.
And when you say loud, how do you mean that? Just kind of talk us through that.
If I was going to pick a coach for something, then I would pick somebody who I had seen show up day after day after day after day for a long period of time. I wouldn't just pick somebody who'd been around for a few months. So I think longevity is really important in coaching and building up trust with your audience.
So why do you think? So I'm going to pick a fight with something at the moment. I think a lot of people come into coaching because they've seen that they've been sold it's easy money. Maybe they've got a really good skill set in a professional career and they go, do you know what? I'm sick of this corporate world, corporate business, the politics and all that stuff. And then they come into like coaching business and then they try to get clients and suddenly realize prospects can be flaky. I don't know whether you've had this experience. By that, I mean, people will say they're really interested, but they're very emotional about it, and then they cool down, and they'll express buying interest and all this kind of stuff, and then they'll literally cool down because a lot of prospective customers and coaching clients are very emotionally, they're responding emotionally.
Yep. So they go away and have time to think about it.
And then the excitement dies down, or the reality of the cost.
The cost, yeah.
But also, I think there's a lot of people prospective customers who have a totally unrealistic expectation of what good quality coaching costs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the training that you have to go through to become a coach, that's really expensive. So if you are going to be coached by somebody who's an experienced coach and gone through the training, then they've invested a lot of money in learning those skills. So they're not going to be cheap themselves because of all the time and money that they've invested in their own personal development to be able to coach you properly.
I think it's weird though, like, I'm not trying to throw all customers and clients under the bus, but I think, like, if you look at and go, well, hang on a minute, if I was going to get a coach and I wanted a significant change in my life, there's how do I explain this? Like, in general marketing, if you're doing PPC, right? So you're doing PPC, you put £1 in, you could probably get £10 back if you optimize the whole thing. Yeah, so a 10 to 1 return. I often think about, like, clients, somehow in our marketing, we need to frame this about the return. And I don't mean a financial return necessarily, but like, sometimes people think, well, actually, I could get a coach for £30 an hour and I could do an hour a week for £30 an hour. And I'm like, £30 an hour isn't a lot of money these days. Minimum wage is what, £11.50 or something?
Yeah.
£12. So if you were a coach and you were charging £30 an hour, you're either, in my book, a coach who lacks confidence, you're just getting out and you're just practicing for a little while, or you're not very good.
Most of the coaches I know and have, I'm friends with and colleagues of mine bundle their coaching packages together. So they'll say you get 3 months for a fixed price, and this is what is included in this service, or a 6-month package or a 12-month package, and that's how they sell things rather than selling it hourly. And then they also speak about the outcomes that the person will get from working with them. So depending on what you need the coaching for.
But what I'm trying to get at is, you can't expect £1 million transformation for £1,000.
No.
It just doesn't work.
No.
But I think also the danger is in the marketing of coaching is, and this is so difficult, like, you want to kind of give people, this is what could happen, but at the same time you have to base it in reality, because, taking that one example of, I got an accelerator in the first week, they landed £1 million deal, right? I love that story.
Yeah.
Right, of it happening, and it was brilliant, right? But if I lead with that in my marketing, as a lot of people would do on the internet, you basically set up two things. One, some genuine people could have a completely unrealistic expectation, because you're basically promoting your kind of outlier result. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yeah.
the one that you love to brag about, but actually that's not representative of everybody. And the reality is, most people on the accelerator, it takes them a month to get going, so they're into clients in month 2 kind of thing, but that one got it in the first week.
Yeah.
So leading with that, you can present an unrealistic expectation if you just bang on about £1 million in a week. So there is that element. But also, I think those unrealistic marketing, the outliers, genuine results, but they're not they're not something you can say is consistently happening. £1 million in a week. I think the danger as well with doing those unrealistic, like amazing testimonials is you actually attract people who are not serious. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you attract people who want a quick fix, and coaching isn't a quick fix.
No, and the coachee, I think it's really important that the person who's being coached has to be prepared to do the work as well and work really hard to get the outcome. Because otherwise that's unfair on the coach, isn't it? And coaches don't really give advice, but they kind of, talk to you with what direction you want to go in, and they, you'll make a plan of your personal development with them. And then if you don't go away and do the work, then that's not the coach's fault. That's the person's fault for not doing the work.
But it could be the coach's marketing's fault. Is what I'm getting
that's
at.
True. Yeah.
If you're, I'm not saying you basically don't tell anybody what to expect, but if you lead with the kind of amazing results that are instant quick fixes, potentially you could end up attracting people who are not serious. But also, I think this is a problem in courses as well. So I know if I put our course out to say, we had one that basically you can get, if you do everything right, you can actually get a really amazing result in a short period. And the gurus tell you to package your offer and say, tell people the most amazing result they can get in the shortest amount of time. Right. And I've done it and it does work. The only problem is it's very difficult to actually get people through that, because you're basically building an offer based on the most successful people through the program. Do you know what I mean?
With things like that, people always start off with a load of enthusiasm, don't they? Kind of.
Yeah, it fizzles out.
Yeah, it does. It fizzles out. It's like
because what happens is the marketing is, this is going to be easy, this is going to be amazing, this is going to change my life.
Yeah.
And then when the grind comes in and the setbacks come in, people go, I'm not bothering. Which for me, yes, you've oversold it, but also the person wasn't really serious. And that's why I think
they weren't the right person to buy the course in the first place, were they?
And courses have a horrendous, what do you reckon the completion rate of online courses is?
I know. It's got to be quite low, like 25% or something like that.
6%.
What is it?
Yeah. So we're not talking about actually implementation here. We're talking about if you go online and it's $197 or whatever the price is, the completion rate, in other words, watching all the training, is 6%.
So low.
So when you see all of the results, basically, that are promoted of online courses, and some people are bullshit and say, all sorts, but you scroll down on the landing pages and at the bottom, there's like this disclaimer now, like, I don't know whether you've seen these, like, these results are not representative of the average user, blah, 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 to stop themselves being sued.
Yeah, so would have to put them in.
But again, like if you've got a 6% completion rate on your course, your success is coming from the 6%. So you put 100 people through, 6 people come through the course. They're the testimonials, which are completely amazing. Of course, I'm sure they are. Most people don't create crappy courses, but the success comes from 6% of the people who bought the course. So in one sense, it's not actually representative of 94%. The success of the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's shocking, 6%. And that's why I think, and you're seeing now more bigger and more outlandish, as the internet's become populated with, I'll show you how to get 1 million followers in 7 days, or all this kind of stuff, or go on TikTok, go viral and get loads of clients. As more of this stuff comes out, it kind of leaves you, the average person, it leaves you with a dilemma of, do I sensationalize? Is that the best way to market? Now, it might be the best way to make money, but is it a great way to build a reputation?
It's the same with sort of like weight loss, though, isn't it? People people who are promoting weight loss are always going to put their best stories out there of, you know, the person who lost 6 stone in, I don't know, 3 months or whatever the time frame is, because that's what looks best for their program. But for every one person, you know, for one person doing that, there's going to be quite a few who aren't hitting those the results that they're putting out there.
Mm. So is that a failing of the person, like the provider, the weight loss coach?
I don't think it is it? Because I've done weight loss with people before, and they've been completely honest with me and said, like, I haven't been following the plan. So, and the people that were following the plan lost the weight.
Mm. So how? Because people who are well-rounded and balanced and not totally up their own backsides or live in cloud cuckoo land will look at that and go, I've had 50 clients and 6 of them or 7 of them have got success. What are they? If you were having that conversation with one of your coaching friends, what would you be saying to them? If they came and said, like, I've had 50 clients and 6 or 7 of them have had success and 43 haven't.
I don't know.
You'd probably say,
improve your coaching.
See? So you just said in the 2 sentences there, right? You said, it's probably not the coach's fault, but then when we talked about it, you'd say, improve coaching. So coming back to marketing, right? You're now in the print business, Maverick's print business, and you're leading up the marketing and business development there. So what are some of the things that you've picked up on, like, that may have surprised you, or different things that have worked? What are you doing at the moment to drive that business forward?
So what we're doing, I've got a database that I'm emailing once a week with something, usually a special offer or like a little article about something. Like the one that went out last week was about getting ready for September. You know, we've got business shows coming up with autumn events, back to school, those kind of things. So I wrote a little bit about that. The one before that was a special offer on leaflets. But what we are doing is an initiative called Tasty Treat Tuesday. And what that is we've partnered up with a local business who they're a bakery in our local town, and they make the most amazing sweet treats. And we've launched a competition. So every week people can go on our website, and if they're local to the area, they can enter the competition. And on a Monday, we'll draw the winner. And then on Tuesday, I will go and pick up the cakes and the treats and the brownies, and then deliver the cakes to the winner. And what that is doing is getting me out in the community and meeting people, because I really feel like I've done lots of business development in the past, and we used to do a lot of networking. But since COVID, I think that's all changed. I think it's coming back now, but I think it's taken a good few years to reestablish getting out and about and meeting people. So Tasty Treat Tuesday is going really well, and we're getting a lot of new businesses in the local area entering every week now. And that's coming through, I would say most of them are coming through social media now.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting though, because you're doing a couple of things there. Because 1, you're getting to meet people in person.
Yeah.
2, you're building an email list. And 3, you've got something to post about.
Yeah, it's really good.
So every week you've got a post you can put out.
And it also
tag the company.
And I can put the winner in the newsletter as well.
Yeah.
So that goes out every week. So it's been really good.
So one thing is getting you business, it's getting you email list. Like, I wonder if people listening to this, they sat down and went, do you know what? How hard would it be to do something like that?
Like the other day, I went out to a local company and I met the team, the lovely, lovely people, and the lady in charge there said to me, "Oh, where's your offices?" And I told her, and she was like, "All right, next week I'm going to return the favour and I'm going to bring a tasty treat box back to your office."
Wow!
And then she came to the office and she had written us a poem. I need to find it. I'll read it to you. And in the box was like loads of biscuits, sweets, and treats all for the team. So we really are kind of building strong bonds and connections with local businesses, which is really good.
Mm. It's interesting that sometimes we need to think about, I think about, obviously I live on social media, right? But opportunities to get in front of people is where you can really build those relationships. I mean, LinkedIn's great. I love it. But even LinkedIn is a tool to get a conversation with somebody outside of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All business seems to come from a good quality conversation. So thinking about the print then, what's your battle plan for world domination? Beyond what you're doing, what's the plan? Have you got any target markets you're going to go after?
Yes, I do. So I'm going to go after some franchise companies, and I've got a plan for that. So I've got an email campaign ready to go out. I'm just waiting on one last thing before I can send it. So one of the emails, we already work with some franchise companies, and I want to put a testimonial in that email. I'm just waiting for them
from another franchise
franchise company that we already work with, and I want to put that into one of the emails.
It's a bit of social proof.
Yeah, and then get that sent out over the next few weeks. Get some help with some of the team in the office to do that.
Cool. And then just one little discussion point before we kind of wrap up. As you're doing stuff, designing emails and, doing all the stuff, some of the stuff that you're doing in the marketing side, you may have never done before or never done to this scale before. I don't know. But your marketing activity requires you to make decisions, like what's the subject line, what we're going to put in the email, all that kind of stuff. How do you not kind of procrastinate and hold yourself up from going, should I do that? Should I do that? Should I do that? How do you manage that kind of internal conversation with yourself to stop yourself from just not doing anything whilst you think about it?
So if I've got a few ideas, I might type them into ChatGPT and say, kind of give me an idea of what the best way to approach, act as my marketing manager and give me an idea about the best way to approach this, and they'll give me a list of an order or different ideas about what the best way to
but you still have to make a decision, don't you?
Yeah.
How do you go through that process of going, I tell you what, let's flip it the other way around.
Okay.
How do you stop yourself going from what if this, what if that, what if this, like all the negatives of what if this goes wrong, what if we say the wrong thing? How do you manage that?
I just do it now because I read something a few weeks ago and it was like, you can always make mistakes. If you don't give something a go, then you're never going to know. And there's no mistake really that isn't big enough to fix. So, just go for it anyway, because you need to try these things to see if they're going to work or not.
There is that fear though, isn't it? You do something and it's going to be world ending.
Yeah. I know. I was trying to do something on Canva the other day and it was just going wrong. Like sometimes my designs are pretty good on Canva, I think, but yeah, it just wasn't working for me the other day. So I just asked one of the designers in the office to help me.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on, doing your first podcast. Is it your first ever podcast?
Yeah.
Your first ever podcast. Wow.
I thought I could get big headphones to wear though.
No, I said we're doing audio only.
Okay.
So you're excited about doing the print marketing, bit different from what you're used to?
Yeah.
You've already won some business from it?
Yeah.
You were telling me about something you were doing the other day. A lady who prepares stuff for people climbing Everest. What was that? You're doing some work for people
Yeah, so this lady, I emailed her. She was on a database list and I reached out to her when I first started, and me and my colleague, she emailed me back, and me and my friend colleague Delane went over to meet her. She works out Mount Edgecombe. So if you know Plymouth, you'll know you have to get on a little ferry to get there. So it was all very exciting because it was sunny and we had our sunglasses on.
It was a jolly as well.
It was a jolly, yeah. We went there to meet Rebecca, and she makes the most incredible skincare products, but she makes products for people who are going on expeditions, and she also, I think some of her stock goes to the Royal Marines as well.
Wow.
So like really healing, nourishing skincare products that people can use like to prevent rubs or for their muscles if they're doing a lot of exercises. But she also uses a proportion of what she does to fund projects, like humanitarian projects. And she's working on an exhibition, and they're going expedition or exhibition. Exhibition, and they're going to
expedition.
Yeah, I always get that wrong. They're going to the Himalayas in October, I believe, to help either improve a school or build a school, and it's going to be, from what I can remember, one of the highest school in the world in terms of altitude.
Wow.
So they're getting a team of people and sponsors involved in that. So yeah, that's really exciting.
And we're doing print work for
her. Yeah,
so that's cool. So some of our print might end up in the Himalayas.
Yeah, it might do. Yeah, that's cool,
pretty
isn't
cool.
It? Yeah.
We should have a little Maverick logo on it there, so we can say that actually Maverick's logo is at base camp.
We should do that. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Seddon, for coming on the podcast.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
It wasn't too terrifying, was it?
No, it was fine, actually.
Good. So you can come on more often.
Okay.
If people like it, if we get lots of views, lots of subscriptions.
How do we know if we get lots of views?
If I get lots of subscribers and lots of subscriptions, lots of comments on this episode, I'll drag her back out and we'll talk about her launching a nutrition business and all the challenges and heartache and struggles that come from doing a business from scratch. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Mindset, Marketing and Money Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe so you get notified about future episodes.